Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today we're going to be going through another report of my crypto social media metrics and earnings for the month of September. I do apologize that these reports are kind of getting pushed back further and further, and recently I did start paying someone to help me with tracking because a lot of the delay is just in tracking everything and making sure I get all of the data compiled, and then I can go through the report no problem. But now going forward, I will have someone helping me with that. I'll be paying them for that. And eventually they will be able to set up a scraping tool for me to do a lot of this stuff automatically and save me a ridiculous amount of time. It takes a lot of time to manually count a lot of this stuff. A lot of the times I'm literally going through, looking at every post I posted for the month and just manually counting the engagements, the comments, all of that stuff. It's a lot of work, but I'm happy to do it for you guys, and I'm happy to pay for that rather now going forward. So the next one will probably come very soon after this one, just as a little heads up. And then going forward, I will be much more diligent because a lot of the legwork will be done for me, so there won't be as much issues there. So with all that being said, let's dive into this. There's a bunch to get into. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the platforms I haven't been reporting on, some of the platforms that I guess I wasn't really, they kind of fell off for a little bit. I'll explain why. Now I'm reporting on them again, and some new platforms where I'm earning. So a lot of good stuff to get into. I'm also going to be doing a comprehensive review of all the blockchain social platforms in existence in the next little while, probably in the next month or so. It's kind of like an annual tradition now where I do it once a year. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to dive into all this great stuff after a quick word from my sponsor.
A big thank you and shout out to my sponsor, Cake Wallet, which is an open source, non-custodial Bitcoin and Monero wallet that also has a built-in exchange. It's available on iOS and Android.
The first thing I want to look at today is Carbon. I've started taking this a lot more seriously, started tracking this. There is an important caveat to consider here. I do have 503 carbon credits, which is, a little over $100, which is pretty cool. But for the most part, you need to be tipped on carbon to get money. You will earn, if you have carbon already, I believe it's 100, but it could just be any amount. I'll have to double check that for sure. But you need to have some carbon credits in your wallet to be considered for the point allocation on the leaderboard. So every month on the 15th, they reward points, which, these points that you've been earning are then translated into carbon credits, which eventually you could withdraw for CRBN, their cryptocurrency. And if you make this list each month, then you will earn carbon credits, and then they'll deposit into your account on the 15th. So you can see here, I am 72nd on the list for 85 points. Points are generated based on engagements and just posting, interaction, etc. And if you make the list of the top, 300? If you make the list of the top 300, you will earn some carbon credits. Now this is a way to do it, but it's not really ideal if everyone is just competing for the top 300 spots, because if you're not going to get it, if there's eventually, 300 people who are always getting in the top 300, or maybe just the bottom few kind of duke it out, that's not a really good incentivization system. And it's probably really daunting for a lot of people. I mean, you can also earn carbon credits from playing this Battle Tanks game, which I guess some people are amazing at, but I am terrible at and normally lose. Pretty sure that's the point. I'm pretty sure the point is to make you lose your credits because you're trying to win more. You can see here, I tried a few times, did not work, didn't win anything. But yeah, so I haven't earned anything yet, but I expect on the 15th of this month to get a deposit, and then that will show up in my next report. Or rather, this is November now, so I guess it won't even be in the next report. It'll be in the November report in December. So hopefully that works out, and I can start taking this a little more seriously, knowing that I'm able to actually get some crypto from this each month. But I'm not a huge fan of the idea that you have to kind of pay or hope that you get enough tips before you can start earning. Generally, for most people, I mean, because I'm an influencer, obviously the founder or whoever tipped me a bunch, which is fantastic. That's really nice of him. But for most people, that's not going to happen. So most people are not going to get enough credits to be in the leaderboards unless they invest. I don't like the idea of needing to invest to participate, but I'm still obviously going to patronize anything that works. So I am here, I'm testing this, and I will let you guys know updates in the future. So that's Carbon. In terms of BitTube, I didn't realize several months ago they stopped doing automatic syncing to my YouTube. So I presumed that this was just still going, and I didn't really think much of it. I wasn't really tracking it, and I came back to it and realized that was the case. I wasn't getting a lot of views back in the day, but now I uploaded this recently with my last post, and this has an insane amount of views more than my other posts. And my assumption is that they stopped doing auto syncing for all platforms, or all channels rather, and now that there's way less noise, people who are posting are going to get significantly more views. And that seems to be the case, unless it's just hype around my Doge and Shiba, talking about that, and maybe that got a lot of hype. But we'll see. Over the next month, I'll be posting all my videos on here as well, and sharing the results of that. But if you can get almost 1,000 views from one video, I'm very bullish on this going forward, and I don't think this was just an anomaly, but we'll see. So I'm very interested to keep up with this and share with you guys. I know you can also earn through this platform if you're using their BitTube extension. So I'll look into that again. Previously, when I did it, I wasn't really able to earn anything, but I will definitely look into it again, especially if I'm getting exponentially more interaction and engagement. That might be an interesting way to earn as well, and then I can start reporting on that here. So do stay tuned for that. That'll be interesting. Gaze.tv. I'm still going to be posting on this platform, but I'm not going to be taking it very seriously because they have a very extensive KYC to be able to get your funds out. Not even just a normal KYC where I give my ID, but they also want me to send extra proof, etc. And it's just really not ideal considering the entire time that I've been here over the past several months, I've only earned about $15 to $20, which is good. But I'm pretty sure this is an ERC20 token, if I'm not mistaken, and it would probably cost more to withdraw and then to actually, get the tokens anyways. So I don't think it really matters right now, but that could change in the future, and maybe I'll reconsider KYCing. But generally, for most platforms now, I refuse to do any KYC whatsoever. The only platform that I even really still patronize is Brave browser, because the only way to get your funds out legitimately is through Uphold, and Uphold has KYC. There are technically ways to get around it where you could give your funds to other people who have already done it, and then they could give that to you, but then they might end up paying tax on crypto that you've given to them, etc. But that was way back in the day when I got into that, so that's a little different. Now I'm much more cautious about just giving out my ID, and considering most platforms do not require KYC, I would say I wouldn't really bother with platforms that are asking for it. So Gaze.tv is not really that ideal for earning on. I'm not going to be reporting on earnings anymore from Gaze.tv. But again, if things change, then maybe I will decide to change as well with the way that I'm reporting, etc. BitChute does not earn you anything, or at least, you should be able to earn tips, etc., but no one really does that. Either way, though, I started posting on here again. I was having issues uploading, but I've since figured out the fix, even though no one in support was able to help me. I don't know why, but for some reason, if I post my entire description and everything, it will always have an error. But if I just post a tiny little blurb and then I just go and edit it after, then there's no issues. So if you're ever having that issue, that's the workaround that I've found, and it works for me. So I'm going to be patronizing this again I might have to re-upload my Doge and Shiba thing. I don't know why it didn't upload, but I'm going to be reporting on this again, at least for my metrics and such. So do stay tuned for that. Now, the last one we're going to talk about for, my revisit to all these old platforms is SoMe. SoMe was not really working, or rather the blockchain was down since January-ish. And to my understanding, it still is, because I can't access my old funds and my new funds, which apparently is only 95 fuel or whatever, which is insane. I can't really access that either. And I'm not sure how monetization works. Like, I mean, a lot of this stuff is just not really working. It said you had to connect to Hive to earn, which is confusing to me, because then what happened to my SoMe cryptocurrency, and like, what's this 95? Like, what is that going to do, or what is that relevant to? If I have to earn from Hive, then this is now just a Hive interface, if that's the case, which is pointless to me, because I don't want to post status post to Hive. And if I was going to, I'd probably just use dbuzz and not go through all this extra effort. And the wallet just links you to like a Hive engine type wallet. So, it doesn't really mean anything. It's not doing anything. Maybe that was just because I criticized the wallet for being just an image. Now it does actually link somewhere, but nowhere useful. So, yeah, I'm not really going to be bothering with this. I'm not going to be cross-posting to Hive. I mean, that's just a nuisance, and it looks terrible, and it's annoying. So I apologize to the people on Hive who did see this post, because this is a pointless little post, and I wish I hadn't posted it, but now I know. And yeah, I would just like to be able to get my ridiculous amount of ONG and my SoMe points and my fuel and all that stuff, but it's still nowhere to be found 11 months later. So soon we'll be going on a year, which is pretty crazy that it's been inaccessible this whole time. But that being said, I'm still going to keep checking in with SoMe and see if they're actually getting things done, or if they're just, I don't really know what they're doing. They keep adding people to their team for some reason, even though they don't have like basic functionality. And they keep saying that they're going to be the best project, but I've seen nothing from them. This is what it looks like on Hive, so it looks absolutely terrible. Images don't actually convert or show up, so I had to go and add these afterwards. I'm surprised this got 13 worth of upvotes. That's kind of insane to me, but I didn't mean to make this ugly post on my feed. So again, I apologize to people on Hive for that who thinks this is like spam or something. But I was just kind of detailing the process of posting to Hive from SoMe and what it looks like and how nothing has really changed. So, there you go. In terms of crypto social earnings, we'll dive into that more, but I figured I would give you a little overview again. I'm almost at 33,000 as of as of the end of September. We'll dive into my much more effective or much more profit generating month of October in the next report, which will put it around close to almost 35,000. Right now we're close to 33,000, so that's fantastic to see. Really, really appreciative that we were able to get this far, and the journey's been going for this long. It's October, we've tracked all the way up to October 2021, and I started loosely in 2019. So it has been quite the journey, and I appreciate you all for being along for the ride. I've made so many reports over the years, and I'm going to continue to keep doing that to give you guys the best insights on how you can earn, what platforms are good to earn on, and just like what platforms are good to use in general. Because as you obviously know, I'm not earning on every platform, but using all these platforms definitely helps generate buzz for my platforms where I am earning, and thus it all kind of collides together into a nice ecosystem where I'm able to get a reasonable amount of money. And I would encourage others who are creating in some way or even just using these platforms to do the same. Now let's actually jump into the report. This is going to be a long one. We're already 15 minutes in. So tracking along fairly normally. My views are not nearly as up as they normally are because BitLink has for some reason been down for quite a while now. And for some reason, they generate such a big chunk of my views every month. And because they're not included, naturally, I'm not nearly as up as I usually am. I'm only 2% up. Normally, I'm around like 8 to 10%. So they definitely bring in the lion's share. So that's unfortunate, but I'm sure it will be back up soon enough. Now that I'm tracking along with BitTube and BitChute, I should be getting a lot more video views anyway, so that's also really good to see. Everything else is tracking along pretty normally. I hope to pass 400,000 engagements fairly soon. I don't think I'm going to pass 1 million video views this year, but the closer we get, the better. I'm sure we'll get to 60,000 comments, and we just passed 140,000 followers. So I'm really, really happy about that. 150,000 is the next milestone. I assume that'll be somewhere in Q1 of 2022. And my impressions have started to pick up a lot more. So that's good. More people are checking in. I think with all the hype coming back to crypto, naturally, my social media earnings tend to ramp up with that hype. And that's very clear if you saw earlier that in October, I earned double of what I earned in September. But that is for the next report, and we'll dive into those insights in that report. Everything else, though, again, tracking along fairly normally. These are platforms that have performed really well for me. I haven't updated BitLink yet, so I have a little tilde there just to sort of say that's, pending, so to speak. But everything's tracking along really well. Since this is already pretty long, let's just dive into the earnings side of things. In total, I earned $868.63 Canadian. That is $697.25 US. And that is the total for September. In September, I removed Gaze.tv, even though it is generating me cryptocurrency, because I'm not going to KYC. I'm not going to include that because if I'm not actually going to get the money, then it's not really money that I've earned. Thus, there's no reason to be reporting on it. Carbon is kind of my new one to the mix, as I was explaining earlier. That was really good. I got $96 worth from that. But again, most of that is really just the owner who is gifting it to me. Going forward, though, I will be tracking for when I'm actually earning it, and I should find out in the next 2 weeks how that looks and how much I'll actually get, and then I'll be able to relay that to you guys. PublishOX, a little bit of a dismal month. It's starting to pick back up again, but PublishOX always gives me, a little something, which is nice. Brave browser, a little bit more than normal. It wasn't from ad rewards. Sorry, this is mixed up. I will fix that after. But the 11 was from creator donations and such from YouTube and Twitter. And the 1.3 was from my ad rewards. So I will flip that around after this. But $11 is a little bit more than what I normally see. And BAT starting to pick up again in terms of price movements. So that'll probably keep going up. This is one of my lower earnings from LBRY, unfortunately. But in the next month, in October, I earned more than double this. So really, really nice to see. This was a little bit of a lower month, but still better than a couple of the months previously. Not the one just before it that was really high, but before that, there was 2 months that were fairly low, and this is still above them. So, I'm not counting that out. Hive has been performing really, really well. So, because it's one of the, if not the most decentralized platform out there, cannot recommend it enough. And $200 is, a nice little chunk of money. And then plus, LeoFinance is a community within Hive where I earned another $16 on top of that. So really, really good to see. Coast.tv, you don't earn a ton there, but, it's worth kind of patronizing, I would say. $7 is better than nothing. And if you're going to hold on to it, maybe it'll appreciate. But me, for certain platforms that I'm not super gung-ho on their cryptocurrency, I always withdraw it and then I just cash it out for something that I do believe in. Typically, I'll just trade my Coast for Ethereum, sometimes Tron or Hive, and then stake it. Read.Cash and Noise.Cash are continuing to perform really, really well. Going forward, though, I'm just going to report these together because while they're not the exact same thing, they're basically the same thing. And it's just a huge pain for me to try to collect this separately since all of my funds route through my Read.Cash address anyways. It's just going to be a lot easier for me to just report these both. Read.Cash and Noise.Cash are great together and or separate. DTube. This was a pretty good month for DTube, actually. I earned $257 worth of DTC. I was complaining previously, and I wanted to make sure to note this, that to withdraw your DTC normally through the platform, through the way that they would suggest, I guess, is through MetaMask. And they're going to charge you pretty absurd fees to actually do that. And that's partially just because of Ethereum, and then partially because, you know, there's a few transactions that need to happen. Plus, if you're going to sell it, that's another transaction fee, and you're going to lose a lot of money in the process. However, I recently tested sending it to Ionomy exchange, and then just with trading that for like Bitcoin or I think it was maybe Dash, and then just withdrawing that, and basically little to no fees whatsoever. You avoid all those issues around trading an ERC20 token, and you can effectively get any amount of your DTube out without having to worry about the fees. So really, really good to see that. And I wanted to make sure I noted that in this one, because I did talk about fees, and I said that originally DTube had extremely high fees, but technically you can get around that. So that's important to note. I also said that PublishOX had these little fees attached, but I was a little confused. I wanted to again address that and say that when you're withdrawing from PublishOX, they just have minimum amounts that you have to withdraw, but it's not like a fee. So I wanted to make sure to correct that in case there was any confusion. PocketNet, which is actually now called Bastion, it changed in October, I believe. So not a huge difference. It's really more so just like a branding thing. It's still Pcoin, but you know, it's like 24 cents, sadly. Not a lot there. It's pretty slow going, but I expect that to pick up as we kind of get into Bastion and more things get going on this platform. I expect this to pick up. So even though it's extremely low, I'm still going to keep reporting on it. Yup, I only got 15 Yup, which is pretty dismal, but that's picking up a lot. So definitely stay tuned. I see a lot more happening from Yup now, which is great. But again, the fees to withdraw are still outrageous. They are significantly lower now, but they're still outrageous because of EOS. Carbon, as I mentioned, most of this is donations, but still good to have. And going forward, I will be reporting on what I am actually able to earn. Blurt has been really, really good lately. It's basically just a copy of Hive. And I got $38 from that. But now Blurt is worth like 3.5 cents. So this is already like basically over $100. It's already 3x, which is insane. I've just been keeping all my Blurt and then delegating it and earning more Blurt. So it's working out very well. I don't know what's causing it to go up so much in value, but hey, you know, that's fine with me. I'm just powering up everything and just building up passive income. So this is really, really, really great to see. And a big thanks to Off Grid Life on Blurt and Hive and many other platforms for kind of getting me back on Blurt and just pushing me to get back in there and start using it again and try it again and take it more seriously. So that was really good that I did. I really appreciate that nudge. And then YouTube, I earned $45.80. You know, it is what it is. A little bit more than previously, so that is nice. But YouTube continues to throttle my content, and I continue losing followers month over month ever since I had that community strike, which again is very, very sad. I don't know if I'm just being conspiratorial, but it seems a little crazy to me that I've never gained a new subscriber since that day that I got the community strike. It seems hard to believe that not a single person has just clicked subscribe. And I've had people reach out to me and say that they've been unsubscribed unknowingly, and then they came back to my videos and realized that they were unsubscribed and resubscribed. I don't know if it continues to unsubscribe them, but something's going on there. Anyways, the grand total again came to $868.63. So that was really great to see. This is the kind of overall pie chart breakdown to give you an idea of where the earnings came from. A good chunk of this was from DTube, LBRY, Carbon, Blurt, and Hive. So, that's really great to see. And then Read.Cash and Noise.Cash always make up a nice little chunk there as well. It's hard to say which platform that you should patronize, because sometimes you'll earn a lot on one, sometimes you'll earn a little amount. It varies greatly. And the best thing you can do is just be diversified and distributed across as many of these platforms as you can, especially if the platform is going to give you some kind of rewards. You should probably take that little bit of extra time to also post there. I think that makes sense. And I think once you start earning money, it'll be hard for you to, make up a reason as to why you shouldn't bother. Like, oh, I can't spend the extra 5 minutes posting the exact same content on this other platform to earn, $5-10. It's worth your time, I would say. And then this is, again, the overall breakdown that we already looked at the beginning. $868.63 is unfortunately 44% down from the previous month, but the next month I'm up like 130% or something like that. So it's kind of all over the place, but we're kind of getting back up there slowly but surely, which is nice to see. From the low that I had in July of 653. Not the lowest possible, but definitely low compared to what I was getting in some months where I was getting over 2,000 for a while. It'll be nice to start getting close to that threshold again. So that is everything for today. I know this one is a little long compared to what I normally do, but I wanted to make sure to touch on some of the older platforms that I'm kind of patronizing again, and then also some updates on some of those platforms. I will do much more thorough insights and diving into all these platforms in my review, my comprehensive review that will be coming up. It's probably my most popular video on any channel that I post on, is always my annual comprehensive review of all blockchain, social, and crypto monetized platforms. So do look out for that. If you think I'm not on a platform and you're on there and you can't find me, and it is crypto related or using the blockchain to some degree, please reach out to me and let me know so that I can ensure to test it for my review and just to be aware of it in general. That would be very, very helpful to me, and I'm always extremely appreciative for anyone who does. You can reach out a million different ways, but here's some of my contact information. Bring this back up. You can hit me up on Telegram or email me or whatever. You can go to www.scotsybusiness.com and find all my other links. The easiest way to hit me up is probably just Twitter or Telegram, but I'm always pretty good with responding to people. And if you don't get a response from me on one platform, just shoot me a couple messages on other platforms and eventually I will get to them. Occasionally I'll miss messages on some of the more decentralized platforms because you don't notice the notifications as much. But yeah, so I would love to see platforms coming out with more analytics tools. It seems easy enough for them to include, so it would make my life a million times easier. I wouldn't have to pay someone, just a million different things if platforms just included analytics. So few do, but I would love to see more that do. Anyways, though, let me know, where are you guys earning? How are your platforms doing that you're using? Again, is there anything that I'm not on that you're on? Is there anything new that you've heard about that you're testing out? I would love to know about that. Let me know in the comments below. What's your favorite platform for crypto? And yeah, keep getting that crypto. If you did watch to the very end, by the way, make sure to do comment #1ham in the comments below. And that way I know you watched to the very end. I'm always extremely appreciative of those that do. And the best way to let me know that you have is to comment that below. And then I do know that you actually watched the full thing. And again, very, very appreciative. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scotsy Business, signing off. Cheers.